Today, we're going to be taking a closer look at Yinlin. She's one of the mid to tall height character models. No, your ponytail doesn't count, and sports overly muted colors, being overly gray, gold, red, and blue. Alright, here we have Yinlin. As per usual, I'll be going from front, side, and back just to analyze her design a little bit beforehand before going into the details. As you can already tell, her outfit is very, defining. It does fit her very well, and does have the important parts open, if you may. Parts that I've seen making their rounds on Twitter. Besides the outfit being very flattering, if you may, she is very right-heavy to me. And by that I mean our right. To her it would be left, but regardless. She has her pin on the right, she has her earring on the right, she has her bow on the right, she has this belt thing on the right. They tried to balance it out with this, but how well that worked we'll see later. Going to one side, we can see her very long ponytail. To me, it doesn't really make much sense, which we'll get into later as well. Her sleeves are pretty much universal, but she does have a chain dangling down here and a very interesting sleeve, as well as interesting shorts at her tassel mark. In the back, we mostly have her hair, though we can also see the chains, the rest of her dress, and her shoes. It is mostly covered, which is why I will probably take away the hair, and so you don't get jump scared, this is what it looks like. It's just bald. She's bald, alright? She's bald, and she doesn't even have an inside this time. Usually they hide stuff in here, but now that we looked at her full body, we'll be starting from top to bottom. On the top of her head, she has a lot more accessories than most of the characters. While yes, the others have berets and whatnot, and most of the girls do have earrings, she has a headband, a giant earring, and another we don't use hair ties in this world situation. It draws a lot of attention to her face, which I do think is needed with her design. Looking at the details first, she has the headband probably to hold up her bangs, a very intricate little hairpin, which I don't know if this has lore in the game. I do hope it does. It's very pretty. Like, honestly, a lot of the items in this game I really wouldn't mind buying. I don't wear hairpins, nor do I wear my hair up most of the time. This is very pretty. She has her, I don't even know what to call this at this point. The others I've called bangles, but this is a tube? Her little hair holder, this probably has a term since the hairpin is through it. It might be an actual item. I'm not too sure with hairdos. I don't do much of those. Looking at her hair overall, it doesn't really make sense to me. I think it's very pretty, it's very long, and I think it fits her very well. But if we go by logic, basically what we're doing is we are threading the hair through here, looping it around, and then feeding it back out. Which, if we are doing that, then the hairpin is the only thing holding the hair inside. And I do imagine that this loop of hair is quite heavy, so I'm surprised how it's not spilling out. I don't know, I mean, it looks pretty. I can figure it looks pretty. The ends of her hair are quite mixed, being straight cut on one side and pointed on the other. This just kind of gives me a vibe that she cuts her own hair. I think that would be a cute headcanon. She's just cutting 1 or 2 strands of her hair every time once it gets too long. We don't know much about her other than she dresses up a lot for missions. I do think we need some hobbies for her. Like, styling her own hair would be a very cute hobby for her. Just trying out different hairstyles, someone should draw that. We already have the whole she's a spy and dresses up a lot situation that I think someone should draw her with a ton of different hairstyles. I think that would be cute. Moving on to her face, I think this is really pretty. I don't have an issue with asymmetry or symmetry in faces, I really don't care, but I like that they put the dots on both sides, then also matched it to her eyeshadow. I think like just a dot would have been just fine. Just to show you what that would have looked like with only one marking on one side, I don't think it looks much worse, especially because she is very right heavy. If this was on the other side, personally, I do think it looks a bit weird. One thing I thought when I first looked at her like this was that I thought she had heart irises. Like, can you see this? In my opinion, this kind of looks like a heart, but once you zoom in, it's actually just the shadow. I don't think you can notice this in the game much because we never get this close. Maybe I'm just a Lulu. Maybe the voices are just getting louder. I don't know. One last detail I want to touch upon on her head is her elf ears. These are so adorable. This is so cute. I don't know why. It makes her look a lot more sly, but once I saw the art for the first time that she had elf ears, I went feral. Okay, I didn't pull for her in the end because I didn't like her playstyle much, but also the earring is very cute. I like that it's not just a normal diamond shape, but it also seems to be twisted into itself. We can look at this a bit closer. It is actually twisted, which I like that they put the detail in that. Moving a bit further down, we have her neck area. She has a lot of parts that resemble a mannequin or a robot. I think these look like little buttons you'd usually find on puppets, and this is apparently a necklace because, oh god, I think I'm going to have to bald her for this one. Because this kind of clicks into each other, kind of like clockwork, and then just goes around. I do hope that this is how I'm interpreting it, or else I don't know how she would take this off. Going a tad further down, okay, maybe not that close. We have a little bow here, which I don't really know the sense of. It must just be fashion. And our first belt thing. I don't think this is supposed to have any use, but it is, in the end, a belt with a buckle thing and a tassel attached to it, so I don't know if I should let this one slide. She does have her famous cutout, which she went viral on Twitter for, because people found it funny to remove the mesh here. Aside from the very obvious main focus of it, she does have a little diamond pattern to the side, and this thing that connects with this maybe seems to be a jacket, which connects to her sleeve with elastics, has something that I found very interesting. Because if you ignore Baldwin, the thing holding this together seems to be hinges. This is not a bow. This literally just seems like a straight metal rod down here. Because these also just connect straight to the back and line up perfectly. Going to her arms, they are pretty much copy-paste as far as I can see, so we will only be looking at one. As you can see, her glove is literally just one sleeve that, as I showed before, connects with elastic to the jacket. I don't really know if this belongs to the jacket per se, but it might belong to the top she's wearing. I mean, it looks similar in color. Regardless, it kind of just looks like the sleeve was cut off and then the jacket part was folded over. Personally, and this is a first, but I do like this design a lot. Yinlin is designed to have more skin showing. She's the type of character that I mentioned in my female rover dissection video. The kind of character that is meant to show more skin. Like, it doesn't go too far down to the point where she only has a glove, but it only exposes the parts people are the most into. Her having a full sleeve really accentuates the glove that she has, because it literally goes from her upper arm all the way down to her hands, which in turn she uses to make her little electric strings. Another thing that I really like about the string design is that they used blue. You would imagine, because her whole design kit is purple, that they'd use purple for this, but this is just very nice to look at. Aside from the light blue, the entire glove has dark blue, red, grey, and gold elements with differing detail. Now that we've done the arms, we do have to zoom in on the waist part. I will try to stay in a little bit of a safe zone, but I don't feel like cutting her chest off. I mean, I could, but it would look cursed as hell. Let me try. I just want to see it. I'm just curious, okay? I'm just a tiny bit curious, right? Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, at least we can say this is YouTube friendly, right? At least, oh god. just sent this image to someone and they said just like Gojo. If this is how you find out about Shibuya arc, I'm sorry. Now that we removed the potential takedown request, as you can see, or well, not really see anymore, her undershirt actually connects down here and loops through. She has a belt hole and she doesn't use it! It actually loops through here and then connects to her back straps. I like that it doesn't just cut off, as like with many characters, and her as well. It actually connects from the top, loops through here, is looped through here, which then connects through back straps, which are connected through a ring, and then just goes around again. Her slit goes down both ways, one from the front, which ends slightly higher compared to the one on the back. Even though the clear part ends here, she has more sheer stuff here. So she does have... We're going to move on from that. She has two more belt-looking things on the sides here, which do not connect, so I take back my praise from a second ago. One thing I'm gonna point out right now that I found really weird was that her dress is pretty thick, but her belly button still shows through, which makes no sense whatsoever. In some parts it's even layered, so this should not be a thing, in my opinion. I think this was just added as a sexify factor, especially because the red part is right over it, so this wouldn't go through. I'm sorry. Compared to female Rover, she actually has proper pants, quote unquote. My main point with this is that they don't twist weirdly. If Rover's pants didn't twist so weirdly, I probably wouldn't have been on her ass because of it. Even though Yinlin's shorts are very, very high, they actually do work. They are actually shorts, though booty shorts, but they are shorts. Said shorts have a gold lining that goes down here. I think this is just to replace the thigh strap most of the characters have. Moving further down, she has a very, very intricate pattern. Not only does it cross over here slightly asymmetric, the design I can't really explain. Like, this seems like 2 stars, and then we have waves, or ginkgo leaves even. I don't really know what this is supposed to represent. It is very, very pretty though, and I think draws away slightly from all the accessories she has. Then again, it just doesn't pull enough attention. If this bow would have been like black, say for example, I think this would have drawn more attention, but it's blue, so it doesn't really reflect anywhere down here. Going all the way down, because the rest of her legs really doesn't have anything, are her little shoes. And of course, we cannot have a character without heels, ever. Even some of the males have them, so I think it's fine. Because God forbid any of them aren't tall enough to ride this ride, they really all have to have heels. They kind of went ahead and reincorporated her entire dress just into these shoes. She has the blue parts from her sleeves, the general black bodysuit, and the red details. She even has her little wood bronze-ish details on her shoes, which I think fit the most to her little hair canal over here. I'm gonna give her hair back. I think that was it for Yinlin. Personally, I am a giant simp, so anything that is meant to be showing skin, I completely go wild for, okay? There are designs that I will criticize because the character just isn't supposed to show that much skin. There's a difference between a Gune character and just wanting to push skin into a character where it just really doesn't belong. One of my criticisms was that she is very right heavy, though I do have to slightly correct that because I don't think switching any of her accessories would necessarily make it better. As you can see, if I were to switch this around, I just think it doesn't look right, but that might be because we're already used to her design. Either way, I really like her a lot, and if my funds did go empty for Jian, I probably would have gotten her. That said, I'm probably going to wail for her on a rerun. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed Yinlin's dissection, and have a nice day. Bye bye.